Hi. So, as you all know by now, in Spain there was a power outage yesterday, and it was kind of crazy because I think we all thought the same. When it happened, I was home. I was watching TV, and I was finishing up an episode of some show, and I was gonna go walk my dog. And then the lights went out, and I was like, oh, damn. So I went and checked, and everything was fine. So I was like, what the hell is going on? And then, there were some construction workers on the streets. I was like, damn, they probably touched something and that they weren't supposed to. And they fucked up. So I went and walked my dog, and I was like, um, there were no street lights on. There was like I was just like a little bit confused. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, they really fucked up, these construction workers. That's basically what I thought at the beginning. And then I was like, I'm gonna go walk a little bit more and see, how far this goes, how much they fucked up, basically. And then it was pretty far. So I was like, damn, it's pretty much like at least the whole neighborhood. Which I live in Madrid right now, so it's not a small neighborhood. And then I was walking, and then I saw the metro station, and I was like, oh, the metro station isn't working. So like a lot of things are like going through your head, like, well, this is happening, and then there was a bar, and there was a car with the radio on, and that's when I realized that it was in the whole country. And as far as they knew, it was Spain and Portugal, which was pretty crazy. Like when you hear something like that, you're like, what the hell is going on? Like I think most people, I think we all thought at some point that it was like some kind of cyber attack, a terrorist attack, of some kind. I know, like, we're a little bit panicky maybe, but that's something that comes up. It's just like something you think about, because it's like, I was like, I'm hoping this is just a mistake, and something, somebody somewhere fucked up, or I don't know, it was just like some kind of issue. But the reality is that you don't really know, and we had very little information. And I went home. I was on my own. My partner wasn't here, so I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna like be alone for the rest of the day with no power? I couldn't cook because I don't we don't use gas to cook. I don't know how you call it in English, so I don't know. But basically we have what we call in Spain vitrocerámica, which it works with electricity. So I couldn't cook. I was worried about all of my food. That I was like, what's gonna happen to my food? That's on the fridge and on the freezer. Is that like, it's everything gonna go to waste? Which, in my case, it did, because my fridge is very old. So it did. It did. Everything went to waste. And then I decided to, like, I was like, I'm not gonna stay home, because I got pretty bad anxiety, and being alone in a situation like this, and my head, it was going like to every single place. I was thinking about too many things at the same time, too many conspiracies, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for a walk. I took my dog, and we walked basically for like 2 hours, and a little bit over 2 hours. And I went to a friend's house because I don't have anybody here in Madrid. I only got some friends, so I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I sneaked into her building, and then I finally knocked on her door, and she opened. She was like, "What the fuck? How did you get here?" Because we all knew there was no metro, there was no nothing. The buses did work, but at the same time, it was like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna take my dog, which is not a small dog, on a bus that's full of people. No. So I just walked. As you can see, I'm burned everywhere. There was an accident that happened yesterday as well because, no lights. You can see. So I'm joking. No, this was just like I was playing with frisbee because we went to the park and it was pretty nice because at the end of the day, I spent the day at the park with the dogs and my friends, and we were playing and just trying to get our minds off what was happening basically, which because we didn't have any information, we didn't know much, and you kept hearing stuff everywhere, on the streets. People were talking. Some people were saying it's happening in France, in Germany, in Italy. It's happening everywhere, which it just makes everything worse because you panic more. So I gotta say, I didn't see many people panic, which I'm happy. Like I didn't see many people panic. I did see a lot of people get lost. They didn't know how to get home, or they didn't know how to get to hotels if they were tourists. I saw a lot of people lost, and I'm not the only one because I've been talking to other people, and a lot of people got lost. Like they didn't know how to get home, they didn't know how to get anywhere. So the people that lived like far away, they couldn't get home. There was no way for them. I heard there were people offering 200 euros just to get a drive and get home basically. So it was pretty interesting, I gotta say. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. And, eventually, I don't know. I remember the lights came on like around 10 p.m. They came back around 10 p.m., maybe 9:30, 10 p.m. So they started coming back. And we were at the park at that time, and we were all celebrating. And because the lights in the park came first, and then the lights on that neighborhood, which wasn't my neighborhood, came back on as well, and you could hear everybody celebrating. Like everybody was like, yeah, like we were too, because we were like, we have no phones, they don't work first of all, and then we cannot charge them. We have no way to cook, we have no way to do anything at all. Like I've realized how dependent we are on electricity, and without the supply, we're nothing. Like, come on, I'm literally using a light right now. I'm using my phone right now. So I realized I need a survival kit, which I'm gonna get because it's just like, what am I gonna do? In the future, if something like this happens, or war, or I was like, I'm not prepared at all. Like, I'm not prepared. Like, I don't have anything. I didn't even have canned food. I don't have a flashlight. I have nothing. I was like, I'm completely doomed. If this happens again, or if this would have happened for days, I'm completely doomed. Which, it's not good. It's not good. It's not what I want to be. I don't want to be in this situation and be useless and not be able to survive if this would have been something bigger than it actually was, because we didn't know. It could have been anything. It could have been so many stuff, so it's like, you know I mean, I was with friends. At least I was like, I mean, if a nuke is gonna fall now, if they're gonna bomb the city or something, I would rather be with friends or with somebody I love, than on my own. So that's that's what happened basically. And yeah, well, this is my story, and I guess like most people have the same story or very similar stories. Nobody knew what was happening. Nobody knew when everything was gonna go back to normal, and it eventually did. Which, thank God, I couldn't go to work today because there was just complications. So I'm supposed to be working right now, but I'm not because they call me. They tell me like not to go because basically. So yeah, pretty interesting day. Pretty interesting. But that's it. That's everything that happened.